Welcome to our video on 8 worst fish you should never eat. Omega-3, protein, and essential nutrients sound like the golden trio for heart health and a smooth running system, right? However, hold that fork for a moment. Not every fish swimming in our oceans is created equal. In fact, making an uninformed choice can turn a heart-healthy meal into a health hazard. Today, we'll dive deep into a list of 8 fish that, despite their allure, should be avoided. Here's a teaser. Ever heard of a certain fish that can live up to a whopping 150 years and often finds its way onto restaurant menus? Though intriguing, its longevity isn't necessarily good news for your plate. A fish that is that old has had ample time to accumulate toxins, which, if consumed, can spell trouble for our body and cognitive function. Now, before we dive into the depths, could you lend us a hand? Give us a thumbs up to spread the vital message of heart health to many more. Don't forget to tap that bell icon, ensuring you're always in the loop with our newest content. After all, we're here to arm you with knowledge for a healthier, longer life. Now, let's start our countdown with number 8, king mackerel. Though many species of mackerel grace our menus, one you might want to reconsider is the king mackerel. So, what's the issue with king mackerel? Mercury. This harmful metal is known to be particularly high in king mackerel. Consuming high levels of mercury can lead to a slew of health issues, including neurological complications, potential kidney damage, and developmental issues in young ones. So why does king mackerel house more mercury than its cousins? King mackerel is a predator. Being higher up the food chain, it feasts on other smaller fish. This leads them to ingest and accumulate more toxins, such as PCBs, over their lifetime. Imagine, even chemicals that might have been banned years ago can still be lurking in our environment and, unfortunately, find their way into the tissues of these fish. But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Remember, we're specifically pointing fingers at king mackerel here. There are other variants, like the Atlantic mackerel and Attica mackerel, that come with a cleaner slate. They're known to have lower mercury levels and are rich in those sought-after omega-3 fats that fight inflammation. In fact, both Atlantic and Attica variants are genuinely health-packed choices for seafood enthusiasts. Moving on to our countdown, we have a fish that often finds its way onto your plates. At number 7, tilapia. Tilapia is a common choice among seafood lovers in the U.S. However, it's crucial to pause and reflect on some lesser-known aspects of this fish. One major concern: the imbalance in its omega fatty acids profile. Both omega-6 and omega-3 are vital fatty acids our body requires, yet the balance between the two is pivotal. A skew towards high omega-6 and low omega-3 can pave the way for inflammation, escalate blood pressure, and amplify heart disease risks. Regrettably, tilapia falls into this bracket, showcasing one of the most imbalanced omega-6 to omega-3 ratios among fish. There's more cause for caution: the safety of imported tilapia. Several shipments of tilapia have been red flagged by the US FDA due to alarming chemical levels. Some of these chemicals, intended to fend off parasites in fish farms, are potential carcinogens and have faced bans in various countries. But guess what? Certain fish farms continue their use, managing to slip under scrutiny. Plus, another cloud over imported tilapia is the high antibiotic levels, which contribute to the looming threat of antibiotic resistance in humans. With all this in mind, you might want to rethink labeling tilapia as a healthy choice. At number 6, orange Ruffy. Also known by the less appetizing moniker slimehead, the orange Ruffy is a fish that can live an impressive 150 years, with maturity only setting in around the 30-year mark. So, when indulging in this fish, there's a high chance you're consuming something that's 3 decades old, if not older. Now, why does this matter? Simply put, over its lengthy lifespan, the orange Ruffy accumulates toxins. This isn't just about the widely recognized contaminant, mercury, but a broader spectrum of toxins that have found their way into our oceans. A striking example comes from a 2004 research expedition, where scientists studied orange Ruffy samples ranging in age from 1 to 139 years. Their findings were concerning. The fish contained significant traces of mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and lead, the notorious Big Four in terms of heavy metal poisoning. When humans ingest these toxic metals, they aren't easily expelled. Instead, they anchor themselves to fatty tissues, gradually building up over time. The consequences? Inflammation, reduced cell functionality, fatigue, brain fog, depression, and heightened inflammation of artery walls are major precursors to heart disease. What's more, a curious observation from one study noted that male orange Ruffy harbored higher toxin levels than their female counterparts, possibly because females shed some toxins during egg release. Beyond the health implications, there's an ecological concern. The orange Ruffy is among the species grappling with the impact of overfishing. As their numbers dwindle, it affects biodiversity and disrupts the delicate balance of ocean ecosystems. So before opting for this fish, consider the broader ramifications, both personal and ecological. Next on our countdown is a fish that might be a favorite choice in dishes like sushi. At number 5, eel. You might have heard rumors about the potential toxicity of raw eel and its blood. While cooking neutralizes these concerns, the real issue lies elsewhere: environmental toxins. A revealing study in the journal Chemisphere highlighted how pollutants, such as dyes from the textile sector, end up in eels. After examining eels from a plethora of sites in Belgium, an unsettling discovery was made. A whopping 77% of these sites had eels tainted with harmful textile dyes. It doesn't end there. In Taiwan, investigations revealed concerns over levels of cadmium in eel populations, a detrimental byproduct of the electroplating process. Cadmium exposure is notorious for triggering osteomalacia, leading to fragile bones and even severe kidney conditions. If that wasn't enough, other research has pinpointed traces of flame retardants and plasticizers in eels intended for human consumption. Another alarming dimension? Sustainability. The world's eel populations are plummeting, with many species inching towards endangerment. The combination of overfishing, habitat degradation, and the surging global popularity of eel dishes, especially sushi, only exacerbates the problem. Certain eel species, like the European eel, now enjoy protected status under international laws. Attempts to artificially reproduce eels haven't borne fruit, intensifying concerns over dwindling eel numbers. So, when debating a menu option, perhaps steer clear of the eel. Number 4. Marlin. The marlin, with its striking appearance and strength, is a marvel of the marine world. However, for all its majesty, it might be best appreciated from afar rather than on your dinner plate. The marlin, thanks to its apex position in the marine food chain, accumulates significant levels of mercury. As we've mentioned, mercury is a potent neurotoxin found in oceans due to various factors, both natural and those driven by human intervention. When fish consume mercury through their diet, it accumulates in their tissues. And as predators eat smaller fish, the concentration of mercury intensifies, especially in larger, long-living fish like marlin. While consuming small amounts of fish may expose us to minimal amounts of mercury, the cumulative impact of repeated exposure is concerning. The potential health implications span a broad spectrum: neurological disorders, cognitive challenges, vision and hearing impairment, kidney dysfunction, and elevated risks of cardiovascular disease. In the context of marlin, their diet of smaller fish, combined with their long lifespan and lack of natural predators, means they can accumulate particularly high mercury levels. For everyone, but especially pregnant women, marlin is a risky dietary choice. Research has highlighted that mercury can be passed on through breast milk, potentially endangering the neurological development of infants. Notably, a study spearheaded by the Harvard Center for Risk Analysis highlighted that prenatal exposure to methylmercury could correspond with a decline in IQ. Other research has similarly underlined neurological test score deficits in children due to mercury exposure. So despite marlin's allure, it's wise to bypass it in favor of safer, healthier fish options. Number 3. Farmed shrimp. Shrimp, with its delicate flavor and versatility in cuisine, holds a prime spot as a favorite seafood. Indeed, it accounts for roughly a quarter of seafood consumption in the U.S. alone. Yet, with rising popularity comes increased demand. As such, shrimp farming practices have intensified, trying to produce more in limited spaces. And therein lies the dilemma. Increased density in farming has heightened the risk of disease and contamination among shrimp populations. To mitigate these risks, many farmers resort to a cocktail of chemicals and antibiotics. This quick-fix solution, however, brings its own set of long-term problems. Antibiotic resistance, a looming global health threat, finds its way into the spotlight with farmed shrimp. A 2015 study in Biomed Research International made a startling revelation. A whopping 75% of bacterial strains in sampled farmed shrimp exhibited resistance to antibiotics. This scenario has far-reaching implications, as antibiotic-resistant bacteria can render infections in humans challenging to treat. However, that's not the only hurdle when it comes to shrimp consumption. Traceability, or the lack thereof, is another concern. When consumers purchase shrimp, they often lack clear information regarding its origin or the conditions in which it was raised. In a 2014 study by the Oceana Group, findings showed that a concerning 30% of shrimp samples in the U.S. were mislabeled. Such discrepancies in labeling make it challenging, if not impossible, for consumers to make informed choices. So if you're a shrimp lover, be vigilant. Seek suppliers who prioritize transparency and traceability in their operations. And don't hesitate to make inquiries about your seafood's origin. After all, informed decisions today can lead to healthier outcomes tomorrow. Next is a Southeast Asian variety of catfish, which has steadily gained popularity in culinary circles due to its appealing taste and pocket-friendly pricing. At number 2, basa. Basa is mainly farmed in the Mekong River area of Vietnam. Unfortunately, this region is known for its questionable farming methods, which can affect the fish's quality. The packed conditions in basa farms, combined with poor water quality, make the fish more susceptible to diseases. To combat this, farmers often use chemicals and medicines to prevent infections and parasites. But here's the catch. These chemicals don't just vanish. They accumulate in the fish tissue, translating to potential health threats for those who consume them. Some of these concerns include risks of antibiotic resistance, neurological issues stemming from pesticide residues, and chances of foodborne illnesses. A study from 2016 shines a light on another alarming concern: contamination. According to this study, between 70–80% of basa shipped to European nations contained Vibrio bacteria. Additionally, about 30% of these samples were tainted with coagulus-positive Staphylococci. Given that these bacteria can lead to severe gastroenteritis, such high contamination rates should not be ignored. Number 1. Tropical reef and warm water fish. Tropical paradises are renowned for their pristine beaches, but there's a hidden peril lurking beneath the azure waters, and it's called ciguatera poisoning. Predominantly affecting tropical and subtropical waters such as the Caribbean, Pacific Islands, the Indian Ocean, and the Gulf of Mexico, ciguatera poisoning poses a severe health threat, and it's essential to be well-informed. Ciguatera poisoning's primary culprit is the ciguatoxins, toxins that originate from microscopic algae populating the coral reefs. When smaller reef fish consume these algae, the toxins start accumulating. And as bigger predatory fish eat these smaller fish, the concentration of the toxin grows. Fish that are especially prone to carrying high concentrations of these toxins include grouper, barracuda, sturgeon, sea bass, red snapper, amberjack, parrotfish, triggerfish. It's crucial to note that while these fish species exist in various parts of the globe, those thriving in warm, reef-abundant waters are particularly susceptible to ciguatera poisoning. The symptoms of ciguatera poisoning can be wide-ranging and might involve nausea and vomiting, diarrhea, headaches, dizziness, muscle pain, and in extreme cases, the symptoms might escalate to breathing difficulties, irregular heartbeat, and temporary paralysis. The harrowing fact about ciguatera poisoning is that recovery is unpredictable. While some might get better in a few days, others might experience symptoms for months or even years. Sadly, cooking the fish doesn't nullify the toxin. To add to the concerns, the increasing ocean temperatures due to global warming are promoting the growth of these toxic algae, making ciguatera poisoning even more prevalent. The best line of defense against this is prevention. If you're holidaying in or residing near tropical waters, exercise caution while consuming large reef fish. Stay informed about local advisories on ciguatera outbreaks and, as a safety measure, avoid eating fish organs where toxins are most concentrated. And there you have it, 8 worst fish you should never eat. We've covered a lot about the world of seafood today, and now we'd love to hear from you. What's your go-to seafood choice? Drop your favorites and any seafood safety tips you swear by in the comments below. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share it with others. By subscribing to our channel and ringing that notification bell, you'll be the first to know when we drop more insights on various topics. Together, we can build a community of informed and health-conscious individuals. Thanks for watching, and we wish you a healthy and happy day.